Awesome. Welcome to everyone who's joined so far. My name is Ryan Haggerty. I'm with the Pittsburgh Robotics Network. This is a newer initiative that we really kicked off last year called the Deep Tech Institute. And just really quickly, a little bit about my background to be fair, so you know who is presenting with you today and how we kind of play a role within the PRN. I've been involved in workforce development, professional development for various sectors here in Pittsburgh, including some software developer boot camps earlier in 2016. Also did some work with the arts with Carnegie Museums. And have been very fortunate to work with Pittsburgh Robotics Networks to get to know this sector better, meet a lot of the companies, see the growth that you all have achieved, which has been amazing, and I think a lot of people in Pittsburgh are still unaware of. But that's why we're here. And really, my role within the Pittsburgh Robotics Network has been taking this Deep Tech Institute, and we're talking about senior leaders today, which we're going to get into all kinds of details about and give you guys some opportunities towards the end to ask questions. But there are going to be times throughout the presentation you may be typing into the chat. We also have a slide deck that does have some polls in it, so we can kind of learn a little bit more about each other. Hopefully we can get you engaged that way, learn who's in the room as well. And I'm going to go ahead and kick it off to Drew just to do his intro. He actually does work really closely with me in all of this, but he's going to share just a little bit about some other programs that we do run that also touch on this sector.
Yeah, awesome. So what's up, gang? My name is Drew Myers. I am the impact manager here at the Pittsburgh Robotics Network. I focus most of my time on the Deep Tech Institute programs. I have previous experience in higher education working at the Katz Graduate School of Business with the University of Pittsburgh. I was the program manager there for the MS and MBA students. I worked there for a few years. I was then recruited to help start up a logistics company, actually. I built the company's entire marketing and recruiting programs from the ground up, and played an instrumental part in helping the company grow in both employee size as well as revenue with the marketing efforts that I was pushing out. I left that position about a year ago to work here with the PRN to help build and roll out these leadership programs for the robotics and AI ecosystem here in Pittsburgh, and I'm really happy to be here. I mean, this is great, and everyone that I meet is so great, and I'm just really excited to be here. Like Ryan did say, I'm heavily involved with the other program that we're launching. So this session today is about the senior leaders. I'm actually heavily involved with the Emerging Leaders program. So that program is geared more towards undergraduate and graduate level students, and just very early entry level employees. Think like interns, people that are trying to get an internship. So if any of you are interested in that program or know someone that could be of interest, we're hosting a session similar to this session on January 28th. So I think that's in about 2 weeks. Information about that session can be found on the PRN's Eventbrite page, or you can email me directly. I'll drop my email in the chat. And with that, I think that's all I have to say. I'll give it back to you, Ryan.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Drew. Before I jump into the formal presentation, I would love just in the chat real quick if people can kind of share their reason for kind of joining the info session today. And I'm thinking along the lines, you may be someone who's directly interested in joining the program, which is great. This is going to be a lot of learning and hopefully getting some answers to questions you may have. You may also be representing a company looking to send employees to this who is in the robotics, AI, deep tech sectors. Or if you have another reason for being here today, if you don't mind just hopping in the chat for a moment and just kind of give your reason for joining so we can be a little bit more aware of who our audience is. And like I said, as we present the slides today, there are going to be some follow-ups for you to give some inputs as well, so we can learn a little bit more about you and as a group learn more about each other. Love a good housekeeping on virtual calls.
Everyone is typing.
Yes, the sound of silent typing. Oh, awesome, awesome. Yeah, I saw a lot of familiar company email domains on the registration list. So welcome, welcome. Oh, very cool. Okay. Awesome. Some people for referrals. I love it. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I'll just echo what Drew said. It's been great to meet a lot of the people working in companies, the companies themselves, and learn about industries and everything that you all serve and why this is all, become this cluster here in Pittsburgh. But it's been great to also connect with other stakeholders in the ecosystem because, as I mentioned before, the newness of some of this and awareness for different stakeholders is still a story we're all trying to tell. So happy that other people are on the call learning and plugging people in and kind of getting engaged in this. This is great. Okay. So if you're still typing, feel free to finish out your answer. Appreciate you all chiming in there. With that said, here we go, battling technology. I am going to do a screen share. Give me 1 second. All right, I want that. I want that. All right. Um, so as Drew mentioned, this is the Senior Leaders Program that we're talking about that we're launching a full session later on this year. And really, you see even there in the name, technical leadership development. We're very heavily focused on technical talent within the companies and helping them out with their frustrations as they're stepping into these leadership roles. Maybe they've already taken them on, maybe they're being primed for it, and bring in these subject matter experts so that we all have this network to kind of benefit from. So to get us kicked off here, I really just want to take a step back. And I know a lot of people probably in this room have engaged or are aware of Pittsburgh Robotics Network, but just depending on how you've engaged with us, you may not be aware of everything that we do. So this network has really been able to kind of grow alongside this sector as you all have matured. Some of you beyond startup phase, going beyond pilots, getting into commercialization, having customers, clients, and all that, and has been thrilled to see the growth happen. And when we do new things like the Deep Tech Institute, it's usually because problems have arisen and now we need to kind of help step in and maybe provide some resources to help people figure that out. So just touching on this slide really quickly. The business growth that we've supported, I mean, that's happened through events like I know a lot of people have probably been out to Discovery Day, our large event in November, where people are actually exhibiting as companies. This past year, we had investors in the room. There's always a focus on the academia and early career side that Drew is helping to serve. So, we're involved in a big way with that and obviously advocating, bringing more resources to the region kind of thing. And then when you think about ecosystem promotion, I think that also dips into things like Discovery Day, panel discussion, showcases, demos. Love going to the open houses that people do here in town and seeing when a company is able to add production to their space and really start to build their headcounts. And then the last two that I'll just touch on there, workforce development. Prior to myself and Drew joining, you all may have engaged with Jenny Sharp, who's our director of workforce development, who's been really great about helping companies figure out some talent retention, acquisition, and just other challenges around that. We've been very fortunate to build on the foundation that Jenny has created in terms of learning about the companies, where they're at, obviously having meaningful conversations with about the needs they have and doing things like her talent committee that she has that's been very instrumental in connecting talent needs across companies and helping them have an open conversation there. Um, and then community engagement is really one that crosses over a little bit into everything because I think a lot of people have different definitions for community, but it really is the piece of the network that everyone's tapping into and looking for their humans. looking for different ways to kind of coalesce for a purpose. And I would say that really ties in very closely with what we're building with Deep Tech Institute. We did run a pilot for emerging leaders last summer that was really great. It was a fun cohort to work with. We had companies participate as mentors. And even from that small pilot, we have people coming back and engaging with us, engaging with the network, figuring out how to get jobs for those people that are in that early career side. And really, that's the benefit to all of this. As much as we are running programs that have a timeline and have a specific purpose, if nothing else from this conversation today, I want people to take away that this is a different part of the network that's being activated in a way that will carry people throughout the program and build connections that way. But I know everyone that comes to these kind of things from my past experience, just running programs, has their individual goals and needs. And through connecting with this network, we hope to keep up with you and continue to engage with you as you develop and are able to kind of get more specific answers from different parts of the networks, whether that's that great mentor that you're going to meet in the program, another company that maybe you connected with, and now you're talking to technical talent across companies, excited about demos that are happening and things. Maybe you're launched into a new market, like whatever. But there is a lot that falls under that community engagement piece that really touches on the work that we're setting out to accomplish with Deep Tech Institute. So I mentioned engagement. So you have the option of either, if you have a smartphone device nearby, of scanning the QR code and you can input for this. But we're just kind of curious, how else have you all engaged here with Pittsburgh Robotics Network? And I believe Drew will share the link if you want to use your laptop. Thank you, Drew. To fill that out that way, and we should see your answers kind of pop up here in the little cloud bubble. But yeah, think about Discovery Day. Have you come out to perhaps one of Jenny's Skill Gap workshops or happy hours? How has your engagements with PRN been to date? Discovery Day 2025. I feel like Discovery Day is going to be a popular one here. Oh, exclamation point with the happy hours. I feel that. Oh, and video workshops. Yep, yep. Got some RTAC folks on here. I love it. Oh, getting in with the Deep Tech Connect. Okay, I'm down. We're happy to introduce you to the rest of our friends. All right. Yeah, so like I said, Discovery Day by far is the biggest thing we do every year. It's a huge effort, and it doesn't happen without the companies and some of the people in the room, but glad to see that people are getting out to that. Certainly the happy hours. It's been great being out there and kind of hearing from you all on the needs side of this. We are looking to connect with more events and things that Deep Tech Institute will be running as well that complement what PRN already does, but great to see that people are already engaged and hopefully finding some value in some of those engagements with the network so far. All right, so back to a little bit more show and tell here. So as I mentioned, we're very fortunate to build on the foundations of work like people Jenny have done with PRN, as well as others here that have worked with you all in the sector. So just to give you a quick snapshot, which I know some of these numbers are going to change with some of the data sharing that PRN is going to be doing later on this year based off some survey data. But we're able to say things like there's over 125 cluster companies and member companies here in the region. And there is a great ecosystem map as well as kind of industry verticals mapping on our website you can check out if you're really nerdy about this and you want to get into it. But that's growth, right? You all have established this sector. You've done a really great job, like I said, of taking a lot of these ideas from startups, getting them out of the lab, out into the market, working with vendors, building up customer bases, adding to your headcounts, which are all great things. We have over 7,300 employees working in the region. Obviously, as the companies grow, that talent needs may change a little bit from technical into some of the tech adjacent or non-technical talent to create these other departments that make businesses run. But by and far, there is a lot of technical talent from the startup phase throughout all the way into people that get into the scale and growth phases with their companies. And really, you're needed throughout that process, right? Whether it's doing the initial research to get to the pilot phase, as we're getting customer feedback and we're starting to think about how do we make more of these, how do we get the integrations teams out there. You all are instrumental across this, but the need that has been expressed is with growth comes complexity. And the way I would describe that, as you all, many of you are probably living it right now, as you add, not just a single marketing person, but maybe a marketing team, your HR department grows, your sales team is growing. You have different sides of, the hardware teams that are kind of working in tandem. Um, Things start to get complex, right? Decisions have to be made as an organization across departments, across teams, with the right inputs in a way that the vision and the business model can move forward. So that's one side of it, is really the business is evolving and the talent across everybody has to keep up with that and be aware and give their inputs, based off of their role in their department. But many of you are also being asked to do things like lead teams, or maybe you're graduating to even higher levels and being groomed for things that are, could be like a VP of hardware track or whatever. These are challenging things and they're frustrating things. And oftentimes, people are looking for their humans and they're looking for answers in this. And that's really where the idea for doing something like this senior leaders training with the Deep Tech Institute came from, was directly from the sector as a growing pain of the, positives of the sector growing. So, just to reiterate, we know you're all talented. We know you all have put in the work to make all this happen. We're just here to kind of help with those growing pains. And like I said before, make these network and community engagement connections happen and kind of bring that toolkit to you so that you can address these pain points and apply it in real time as you're kind of coming across it, but also really to come back and have this space to have these conversations across companies, across disciplines, in a way that is presenting value to you, but is also, helping you out in your own career pathways as you're thinking about what some of your next moves are. So that's, in a nutshell, why PRN decided to do this to help address some of these needs. But really, it's building on the momentum that's been created here in the sector so this growth can continue and you all can get the right resources and connections you need to make that happen. So with that said, just as we're doing our learning here, if people are able to, you might have multiple industries you're serving, which is great. But if we can just do a little share once again in this Slido poll, really interested to hear. I know some of the companies already that are in the room, but for maybe some of the ones I don't, I'd be interested just to hear what industries are you focused on serving right now? I think we may have some people serving robotics sector, which is cool. Our broader ecosystem partners. Okay. Biotech, manufacturing, automotive. Cool. And we'll see some other ones popping up here. Farming, large fruit growers. Awesome. Defense and aerospace, very popular. So one of the reasons we wanted everybody in the room to see this, these are mixed cohorts that are going through here. So it's not that information will not be relevant to you because you're serving a specific sector or a specific industry per se. Like I said before, this is more designed to be a toolkit to serve your needs, whether you're that team lead who's gathering inputs on a project and really keeping in the back of your head that you're at this phase where, we're moving out a prototype, we need to save costs. Like, we may want to use the best tech, but if that's not within the budget, that's not the kind of input we want, and we got to figure out how to get it right. But across industries, as you hit a different growth phase in your business model, we're still going to find a lot of commonalities, a lot of pain points that people are facing within that growth. And like I said before, understanding where your company is and maybe how to present yourself and even ask some of those questions across departments and to higher ups, but helping you be equipped so that you don't feel frustrated. We can let go of some of that anxiety and take a step back and take a breath and really see how we want to move through that. But yeah, thank you for sharing. Um, Now, what is the payoff for this? We talked a little bit about how you as individuals are on your own career trajectories, and certainly this is going to be helpful as you are mapping out some of your next steps, presenting yourself and the impact you have within your organization, helping them achieve their goals. So, what does that look like? Now, these are broader research studies and reports which apply across lots of sectors. This is not specifically robotics and AI. But within organizations and businesses as they grow, these are some of the things that, we're helping the companies achieve. And really, this is the big payoff for everybody. So keeping the sector growing, really the goal of most of these companies, unless you're specializing, say, in Defense Department contracts, which is still taking your product to market, it's just a different customer, is really commercialization and being able to kind of get to scale so that you can have that sustainability. So as you all, as the technical talent, are equipped, becoming better leaders, getting better inputs, presenting better information, which is contributing to the business model and the bottom line, we expect revenue growth. We expect to see solutions entering into new markets, and maybe some great conversations happening between technical talent and other departments about some handoffs and opportunities on how to make that happen. So there's a big empowerment piece to this that is going to enable people to be more elevated and activated contributors. And entrepreneurship is really that sourcing of the internal ideas and thinking of yourself. While you may not be that company founder in the room, you're able to think a little bit more like that and feel confident about speaking up, about communicating in the way that is professional, and contributing to what the company is trying to achieve. And then the other side of it, and this is really a lot of, going along with a lot of the work that Jenny has been doing with PRN for a while, but it's thinking about how do we keep talent here in the region? How do we make you all feel valued? How do we keep everybody moving in the same direction? And that could be anything from the company actually growing and being able to keep their headcounts growing. But that can also be related to kind of that succession planning or that internal promotion where, I know there's a lot of frustrations in tech of trying to bring talent into town, especially when it's higher level talent, but really learning more about who exists within our companies and being able to give them that +5 leadership and equip them with some of the tools they need to perhaps be the right people to kind of graduate through the organizations and not only be retained, but kind of step up as leaders within where they're already working. So, like I said, big payoff for everybody. So, I think some takeaways from that. If you're one of the people in the room that are having the conversation as we get into availability and the time considerations for taking this program, be your own best advocate and understand your own value within this and what you're bringing to the table and what you collectively are looking to achieve by participating in this, and not just developing yourself, but also becoming that activated contributor that can really be seen in the right light as bringing value. So this is just a quick one. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this. This is more the mission state and me kind of stuff and repeating some of what's already been said. But we are running this as a cohort-based model, so that's really where the network begins. You're able to come together and everyone's going to be at a slightly different point probably in their career pathway. But you all are going to be going through some of the frustrations of learning new things, and maybe perhaps some of you as adult learners coming back to learning for the first time in a while. And the cohort model is great, not only for helping to support each other through that process, but you're not just able to learn from the people we're bringing into this, such as our guest speakers and mentors, but you all are in the sector here in the region doing the work. So you're able to learn from each other too. And this is, if you're really one of those people that is looking to refresh your network, maybe you're, starting from an early point in that, this is a great cohort to build that network around and kind of go through this together and experience the positives together, but also, support each other through this process. So final one, I promise, for your inputs. We'll have questions at the very end, but just with those thoughts in mind, I'm just curious to hear from where everybody's at right now. And if you're somebody who's referring or representing the company, kind of how you see this question, right? But what are some of the most important skills to develop as a leader? What are some things that you may be being honest with yourself that you're working on, looking to gain more from, or just in general that it's going to take to kind of achieve some of these next steps you're looking to take on in terms of career development or being that contributor? Hmm. Ooh, focus and clarity. I like that wording. Yes, communication. You will always be there, for better or worse. There we go. Communication, project management, delegation, absolutely. Um, yeah, and it's funny, whether someone's stepping into one of their first management or leadership roles, or if you're, getting into some higher level leadership, the skills don't change. And we all kind of have to come back and refresh ourselves sometimes, take that step back, revisit the toolkit, maybe add some new things to it. But these, you guys are already hitting on some of the things that absolutely can derail your projects, derail these relationships you're building, whether it's, internally, externally, and really, be these stumbling blocks that, we're trying to address here by providing you with some of these resources, but as well as these network connections. So thank you for sharing. Oh, empathy. I love it. Yes. Being all the things of being human and wanting to feel good about being a human. Agreed. All right. This is in our program overview, which is on our website. It's also in our application. So if you need to revisit this is maybe getting to some of the more details about what we're actually presenting in our modules. So there are 3 main modules. And the way this is being presented, we're really kind of starting off with thinking about being that solid team lead and making sure that we all are equipped within that with the right toolkit to go and gather those inputs, to delegate, to feel confident about the types of communication we're using so that things are happening effectively and clear and, on point and focused. So as you move through a module, I am going to go to the breakdown of what that actually looks like in terms of the engagement. But this is just giving you some of the higher level objectives, thinking about, not only you being presented topics, but the idea that you're actually working on work products that you can then adapt and use within your own time, within your own needs in your workplace. And also coming back and being able to problem solve. So, whether it's this or one of the subsequent modules, if you are trying things out, if we're in the middle of a conversation around a topic and you are coming back to share in this safe learning environment, some of the frustrations that you are currently experiencing, it's a little bit of give and take. And I will say the more active you are as a participant in this process and the more you are kind of constantly thinking about the discernment and bringing things back, the more you're going to get out of it. Because a program, like all programs, are designed somewhat generally to bring people together around a common set of topics and needs. But you bringing your individual needs and thinking about how can this group, how can the experts in the room help you address that, perhaps sometimes in real time, so that you are able to apply what you're learning. That's a big part of it. So, don't think of this as if you're coming from thinking about academia as being this classroom setting where you're just being presented things. This is meant to be as real world as possible in terms of the feedback, the way we're presenting the topics, but also just presenting opportunities for you all to problem solve. So yeah, module 1, like I said, really building on that team lead. Also, thinking a little bit about the business model. Module 2 gets a little bit deeper into some business literacy in the business model. And then in terms of that leadership communication piece, this is where we're thinking about speaking across departments and across teams, right? So I always like to pick on marketing because they get very excited and they like to tell stories, and sometimes they annoy us when they bug us too much. But the better inputs you as a technical person can provide to your marketing team, the better your solution is going to be presented in the right light in the way that you know it needs presented. And the more you're going to be encouraged to provide more input. So a lot of this is thinking about, as much as you may be the expert on how you got to the point where you are with the solution that's serving your industry, how do we then communicate that to these other teams that need to know more about what we're doing? Or as the vision comes across the company and it hits our plate, how are we now internalizing that, understanding that, letting people know we're understood, and contributing that back to our team or our project that we're working on, right? So like I said, this is addressing these growing pains of good things happening and headcounts increasing, but wanting to give us kind of that glue with this technical talent to be able to do this effectively. And then the third one, this is really taking it to higher levels of communication and thinking about people who have less and less time in their day that we're presenting to. So this is really taking things up to that executive level or external stakeholder level in the way that you're being asked to represent, or perhaps you yourself are proposing a new idea, and really helping to hone our storytelling around that. So if you're someone who gets really nervous about that idea, you have a lot of anxiety or whatever, this is a great testing ground to come in, mess up, get feedback, feel like you have a way to approach that and break that down, and really wrap your head around that and be effective in taking the idea from where you have it now to those audiences and communicating in a way that you're going to be understood. So this is repeating the modules, but just wanted to give you a quick snapshot of the dates that we're running these things and the fact that we are very cognizant of holidays and some other professional sector things that are happening at certain times of the year. So we are kicking this off late spring and wrapping it in the middle of October. And you'll see on one of the next slides that the cadence for this is kind of light. The total hour requirement over this entire period is 100 hours. And part of that time is, that's emerging leaders. We're 90 hours. I'm sure Drew is shaking his head right now. So half of that time is engaging in these sessions. The other half of that time is asynchronous in doing things on your own, which includes work product and some external professional development opportunities. So this is the breakdown on, those kinds of engagements and the cadence of it. So every month within a module, we are going to have 2 different subject matter experts as guest speakers who are introducing things that cater to that module, tell stories about how they addressed some of these pain points as they were coming up and had to work to grow their companies, but also giving you some hands-on exercise those same days to really kind of start digging in and familiarize ourselves with how to apply some of these things. And then in between those, we are doing virtual engagements. So you're coming together as a group with a facilitator. There may be also some additional mentors in the room at that time, depending on the topic. And that's where we can really start to dig into some of the work product that you all will be working on, some of the problems as you are going out and applying these ideas and trying them out for yourselves. And to have just deeper discussions on building up that toolkit so you all feel equipped and are able to get some of that real world feedback as we're trying things out. And then the self-guided hours, like I said, maybe that's working on that work product on your own to be able to bring back and get the feedback. That could also be going out and attending professional development events and other things that are coming through the PRN network and our partner ecosystem. But that's some time that you can kind of decide when you want to sit down and make time for yourself to do that. So you have that flexibility, but then be prepared when you come back to get the pointed feedback that you need. So this is just sharing a little bit about some of the additional professional development, which you guys mentioned some of the ones you've already engaged with here with PRN, but We are heavily catering to these participants to make sure they are aware of these things, whether that's through the Slack channel that they're in, the newsletter that we're putting out there, but just providing not only the network, but the extended network for people to go and choose how do they want to continue to individually develop outside of the main tenets of the program. So same kind of thing there, just mentioning the open application, some of the important dates. And as people apply, we do virtual interviews as a follow-up to those applications. We just are checking in to make sure that you are in alignment with what this program does for you, with your goals and all of that. And you're also able to ask additional questions on there, but that's the way we kind of vet the applicants for the process. And then we do have an orientation date, as well as kind of an end date that's TBD right now, as our discovery day dates kind of get finalized. So you can scan that QR code to get back to the Deep Tech Institute page, which has all this information about the application and things, but I am going to kick it out of presentation mode and we'll open it up, which if we need to run over a little bit past 11:45, I can be available till noon, but I did want to open it up into questions next.
I just wanted to say something really quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll send everyone on the call today an email after this with the link to the application in case you missed that QR code, as well as the program overview slide deck. That way that you guys can like reference it and make decision on if you want to apply or share it amongst your peers or however. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Drew. And feel free if you want to come off mute, if you have questions in the chat. Oh, wow. Okay. Sales skills development. That's a great question, David. I would say we can take that back to the team. Like I was saying, prior to this Deep Tech Institute work, Jenny Sharp through the Build Back Better funds was very heavily involved in a lot of program development throughout the region. So we'll definitely take that question down and we can connect with Jenny and perhaps reach back out and provide a little bit of additional guidance on that.
I actually can speak on behalf of Jenny. So Jenny's next Skills Gap workshop is going to be about business development and sales specific to the robotics and AI
Thank you.
industry. The details of that are still being worked out. What I do know is that it's going to be hosted likely on campus at CMU sometime in March. So if you just want to write that down and just keep it on your radar for something to look out for, but that is what the next topic of the Skills Gap workshop will be.
Awesome.
David, we cannot hear you. You're talking.
Oh. And if you're trying to chime in there, David, if you're still on mute. That's all right. Technology.
Technology, yeah.
Cool. Any other questions while you have us on today?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm a software engineer with 2 years of experience. So I'm looking to build my leadership skills in general.
Mhm.
So I see myself between the emerging talent stage and the senior leadership stage. So I'm wondering which program would be the best fit for my current level.
Yeah, and I would just ask, are you currently with a company? Are you what's your current career track?
Oh
Just
yeah,
curious.
I'm working right now as a software engineer, so I'm not yet a team lead. But in
Gotcha.
general, I do want to develop my leadership skills, so that can better prepare me for any potential track on
Yeah.
that in the future, and just in general improvement. So I'm wondering which one would be a better fit for me, or where can I reach out to find some resources to make the decision around this choice.
Yeah, I would encourage you to apply to senior leaders because it is the company facing and it will be a mixed cohort. With emerging leaders, we do touch on some similar topics as you can imagine because we want them to build up good habits before they become bad habits kind of a thing. But really that is geared more towards people that are trying to get into the sector or perhaps are in an internship and is helping them kind of discern more of what the opportunities are because companies like to call the same job different roles. Maybe they are very new and don't understand that it's a sector serving industry and B2B primarily, like those kind of things. And then they're also working on a career pathways development as well as some pitching, but it's a lot less of equipping you with the toolkit of, like we were saying, like what it would take to be a team lead. So if you are, we'll call it aspirational at this point with your career goals in terms of making your next steps, senior leaders, I think, is the best opportunity to kind of take on the knowledge base, the frameworks to plan that out and prepare and kind of meet the network that maybe also can help you with these one-off specific questions for the kind of roles, the kind of industry being served, depending on how technical it gets kind of thing that you may be diving into. But yeah, I think that would be most appropriate. And as you go through the application process and we do the interviews, we can kind of follow up on some of that kind of thing, but that would be most appropriate at this point.
Got it. Thank you, Ryan. That's so helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question. See, we already have a cohort here. We got emojis going on. This is great. Any other takers? Big burning hot questions while you have Drew and myself on here. All right. Well, if that is all that you have today, like Drew said, I would say I'll go ahead and give my follow-up. So there are some final questions. Feel free to chime in. But what is your email? Oh, sure. Yeah, I would say the best email for the senior leaders is that slprograms@deeptechinstitute.org. And we'll also, in that follow-up email, we can share the same contact information in there for you to do that individual outreach. But yeah, I would say as follow-ups, we'll have those emails coming your way with some of the resources and contact information. And certainly reach out to us that way if you have questions about application or any more specific questions about where you're at in your pathway and if this is a good fit for you kind of thing. Otherwise, I would encourage you to come out to some of the next events that we have coming up, see us in person. If you need to schedule time, we can make ourselves available for that. But I appreciate everyone making time here in the middle of this rainy Pittsburgh day to join, share a little bit about yourselves, as well as ask questions. We'll make this recording available as well. But happy to hear from you. Happy to kind of meet some new people in the room and see some familiar faces today. But appreciate your time and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.